I went on a first date last night and the guy made fun of my voice 3 times within the span of 20 minutes and then I left. I don't understand negging really as far as dating goes because I like compliments. I don't want you to pick on me. I don't think that's like a flirty way to like get to know someone. I just think it's kind of mean and I will always leave. We're supposed to get dinner and I order this miso salmon and I order it with the waiter. As the waiter's walking away, my date goes, I want the miso salmon, in a voice that's just high like that. And I kind of chuckle because it's like a little funny, but I don't say anything because I'm like, that's kind of weird. Also, he's just like a grown man. He was 34. Then 20 minutes later, or 10 minutes later, I'm sharing a story about just my day, and he interrupts me to just repeat what I just said, to mimic me in the same high-pitched tone. And then he goes, your voice is so high. Like, how did your voice get that high? Like, that's crazy. And I said, it sounds like you're not familiar with voices because I didn't do anything to get this one. This is just the one I was born with. And then he goes, no, it's just really high. Like, I didn't expect it, but I like it. I like it. So I continue on with my story, and then he interrupts me again to mimic me for a third time. And then he was even more confused because the waiter came back with our drinks, and I said we can just get the check, and then I would love to take my food to go, and I'm happy to pay for both of us. And then I just left.
Patriarchy, when I catch you, patriarchy. You've caused so much irreversible damage to this society, and it is all you to blame, patriarchy. And we're still unpacking all of the layers and crap and garbage and bullshit that you have fed this world, negging being one of them. Let's talk about it. We all like a little bit of harmless flirtation and banter, right? Like, banter is supposed to be foreplay. It's supposed to be harmless fun, and everybody is supposed to be involved. Both parties should be into the flirty banter of it all, right? But too much of that is way too much. Too much of that is definitely a red flag, and that's when negging comes in. So negging is a term that has been coined by pickup artists since the 60s, and honestly probably since the dawn of time. Negging stands for negative feedback, which is what pickup artists use. Like, even that word pickup artist is so predatory, and it's like, it's the creepy guy at the bar that's just sitting on the side, right, sitting at the wall, and it's just scanning the room for anybody to try these stupid ass manipulation tactics, because that's what they are. This is emotional manipulation. They're not cute little funny roasting jokes. I don't do the roasting thing. Now, this is a tactic that these like hyper alpha males will use to pick up women in hopes that somebody will fall for this bullshit. It leaves you feeling like you now have to seek their approval and you have to prove your worth to them, which is why they enjoy it, because they don't get attention at home. The people that have to use these like underhanded tactics to try to pick up women are so lonely, desperate for attention because they do not get it at home, and they're hoping somebody will fall for this. Negging makes you question yourself, and it makes you look inward, and it makes you feel like you're not doing enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not dressing nice enough, you're not wearing enough makeup, or you're wearing too much makeup. All of these things where it's like, okay, sir, who are you to tell me what you think, or like what you think I should be doing with my life, especially when it comes to looks. Like, just because you said, oh, I don't really like it when girls wear makeup too much, I don't give a fuck. How about that? I don't actually care. But like, the whole ruse is that they want you to like defend yourself and defend your honor to these people, as if, like, my thing is like, who appointed you to be like the king and the leader of what everybody needs to do with their life? Like, who appointed that role to you? You gave it to yourself. That's the thing. And they get their validation from seeing people succumb to their ways. They feel validated when people sit there and will be like, no, I don't do this, or I'm wearing this because blah, blah, blah. Like, all this extra stuff, they want that. They want to see you scramble to defend yourself. And it's actually very weird to me. Like, I don't see how you need attention and validation so bad that you're going to go through all these like underhanded, bizarre, cruel tactics. And you guys just saw the TikTok that I included in this video. It's like, what? This is a first date. Why do you, like, what level of narcissism do you have to where you think you can just say these things to people, and A, they're gonna give a fuck, and B, You think they're going to change their whole life around because you, the leader of everything, told them, I don't actually like that. Nobody cares, though. That's the thing. Nobody cares. And I feel like I'm not getting into it. I'm just kind of like getting riled up because it's PMS season again. I just want you all to like see how stupid this is. And I want you to know anytime, and we're going to get into the examples of negging just in case you're still lost, but anytime somebody has you questioning your self-worth, has you auditioning for them and proving your worth to them, that is someone you need to stay away from, and that is someone who can potentially be a dangerous person because they get a sick satisfaction of seeing you scramble. That's what the whole point is. They enjoy that. Like, it's weird. So we all seek validation in different ways, right? Like, everybody seeks validation. You need validation. You need to feel validated. There's clear differences between a secure person looking for validation and an insecure person looking for validation. Secure people will look for validation within themselves, because no amount of sweet words and compliments and platitudes can actually make you understand the worth and the value that you intrinsically have until you believe it. So secure people understand that, and they look inward to find their validation because they know that that's what's going to be more lucrative at the end of the day. Like, it's not enough to just hear nice fluffy words from people, although we do love that. It's not going to register until you actually believe it yourself. And that's why it is so important to work on having, you know, not only just a secure attachment style, but just being secure in it of itself. And then, you know, once you can validate yourself and you have the understanding that you are worthy, then it's nice to have other people in a healthy support system around you to tell you and reiterate what you already know to be true for yourself. Now, insecure people seek validation solely from outside sources because they don't have the support system within themselves to believe it to be true. You can tell yourself, you know, all these affirmations and stuff, but they won't actually believe it until they do the work to feel it. So when you're insecure, you're going to be looking to other people to tell you how you should feel about yourself or what you should do with your own life. Now, a harmless insecure person, you know, just a person who unfortunately maybe didn't grow up with a good support system, or they just were fed all of these lies about themselves and they never had the chance to actually work through that. That person may need extra reassurance and extra validation from other people. And that's not always a bad thing. Like I said, the secure person is going to first look within themselves for the validation, but also the outside validation just helps support what they already feel about themselves. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to seek outside validation, but of course the goal is to validate your own self, because like I said, you're not really going to truly believe these people because you don't believe it yourself. Now that's the harmless insecure person. Now the harmful insecure person will use tactics like negging to make themselves feel better about themselves. A harmful insecure person will make it everybody else's problem around them, and they will attempt to bring them down just to feel a sense of power and validation. And it's very bizarre and weird. A cruel insecure person will use manipulation tactics to get what they want and to feel something. They want to use things like negging to knock you down a peg and to create this imaginary hierarchy that I'm up here and you're down here and you better fall in line. And now anytime you need validation, you better look to me to give you that validation, because apparently that's what makes somebody powerful, is begging somebody to look to you for validation. Like, it's so weird. And I want you guys, like, once you start finding this information out, right? Like, we all learn things in different ways, but once you're hip to this information, I need you to start seeing these people for what they actually are. And they're just insecure children. They're just insecure people. And I need you to look at them like this. Like, it should be laughable. Like, you really need attention that bad that you have to put others down in little sneak and snide ways because you don't get enough attention at home. You don't love yourself enough, so you have to recruit an army of people to give you that validation you need because you can't find it yourself. That's a problem. This is why it's so important to have a healthy self-concept and to have healthy self-esteem. It's not just about thinking you're the best person ever and you're so pretty and all that. It goes far beyond it. When you're actually secure within yourself and you actually have real, true love for yourself, you're not gonna fall for this type of bullshit. Like, why would I sit here and try to prove my worth to you? Like, who are you? So it's super important before you try to start dating somebody, please work on yourself. And I don't say that as like a throwaway catch-all term. Like, a lot of self-help people would just be like, love yourself, love yourself. Okay, but like, no, actually you need to love yourself, because when you don't love yourself, you fall for nonsense like this. And if you're not falling for these manipulation tactics, you are the one doing the manipulation tactics, whether you realize it or not. There's like so many subtle ways to emotionally manipulate somebody, and some of us do these things whether we realize it or not. If you need to put others down to make you feel good, you should not be dating. Self-awareness is key. Like, you have to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. If you know that you're not completely happy with who you are right now, take a step back from the dating scene, because it's only going to get worse. When you don't know who you are, you will let any and anybody else tell you who you are, okay? This is why it's super important. This is why I will keep making videos, especially for my ladies. But I know I have some gays and theys watching, which is nice too. But I will always tell women, you need to do your part on your end to make sure you're good. And then everybody takes that as like, oh, you're victim blaming, you're shaming. It's not even about that. It's like, why would you, if you know how these people are and these dating streets of hell, if you know how they are, why would you not want to equip yourself with all of the knowledge and information possible before you get into these situations? And now that's not to say you can prevent any sort of bad thing happening to you, but my message and my philosophy is, get your shit together. Stop waiting for somebody else to be perfect and be everything you need. And in the meantime, in the interim, while you're waiting for that fairy tale Prince Charming to come through, work on yourself. Even the most secure people can fall victim to negging, because negging affects your ego. And you know what? We've been talking a long time, but I want to give you guys some specific examples of negging. Wow, I didn't expect you to X, Y, and Z. I didn't expect you to be this smart. I didn't expect you to be this funny. Wow, you don't look like the type to do X. I wouldn't peg you for the type of person to do this, especially if it reinforces a negative stereotype too. Like, for example, oh, you're a blonde? I didn't expect you to be this smart. You're pretty smart for a blonde girl. Oh, wow, you're pretty for a black girl. You're not like those other black people I've met. You're different. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? You're pretty for a black girl? So you're saying, oh, you monkeys are normally ugly as fuck, but not you. Not you. And then they want you to be like, wow, me? You think I'm pretty? Wow. So these people are basically saying a whole lot of shit that nobody asked for. Like, what do you want me to say to that? Oh, you're a lot smarter than I thought you'd be. What do you want me to say? Wow, I'm honored. Like, wow, look at you giving me this great honor of thinking I'm a lot smarter than you thought I was going to be. And then that's the thing. Like, they want you to engage in like a back and forth with them, because look, if somebody's telling you, oh, you're pretty for a black girl, you're pretty smart for a blonde, of course, because your pride and your ego and just your personhood is being attacked. So of course the normal response would be like, what is that supposed to mean? And that's what they want. That's them winning, because you're engaging with them and you're giving them what they want, which is putting the power in their hands. Because it's like, give me the answers, oh wise one. You know everything. I now have to look to you because you said something, and now I'm questioning my worth and my character. So now it goes back to you and it props them up. He wants you to look at him as if he holds the keys to your self-esteem. And that's how you end up in terrible abusive relationships, because it starts with something harmless, like a little roasting, a little negging. Oh, it's just a joke. Come on, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. It's not just a joke. It's not funny. And you know what? Jokes have to be funny. And they're not funny. So you need to go back to the drawing board and find a new joke, because this one's not it. And that's the thing. Like, that's the thing with this whole negging situation, because they have plausible deniability. And we talked about plausible deniability in episode 14, because people will do this weird thing. Well, they will throw rocks and then hide their hands and then act like, well, I didn't actually say that. You're being crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I said you're pretty. Come on, it's a compliment. But they're missing the point where they're saying you blacks are normally ugly as fuck, but not you. I'm calling you pretty. Take the compliment. I hate it. They're acting passive aggressive. And because they can't stand on anything, when you call them out for it, they're going to act like, whoa, this woman's acting crazy. Whoa. And even the most secure people can fall victim to negging, because again, it's an attack on your character and on who you are. So of course you're going to want to defend yourself. Of course you're going to want to give them the same energy in return. And these backhanded compliments are not always so obvious. So you're sitting here and you're hearing something and you're like, oh, this sounds like a compliment. And then it's like, sometimes it's too late, because you go home and the situation's already over and you're like, I don't actually think that was supposed to be a compliment. Sometimes they get really good at like hiding their true intentions. But once you get hip to what's going on, and if you ever feel like somebody is demoting you and putting you down here and propping themselves up, that's how you know that they're trying to neg you, or some sort of other emotional manipulation tactic. So just keep that in mind. If you're ever on a date with somebody, or you're just dating somebody and they make you feel like you have to audition for your self-esteem or like prove your self-worth to them, that ain't it. That ain't for me. Never audition for somebody's affection. I'm going to repeat that. Never audition for someone's affection. Why are you're sifting through and looking for a compliment underneath layers and layers and layers of manipulation? You're not gonna find the compliment because it's not there. Why should you have to do that? Like, what kind of secure person that likes you allegedly and has a crush on you allegedly is gonna make you sift through manipulation to find a compliment? Answer me that. Like, who has time for that? What secure person with a life and things to do and a life to live for is going to make you audition and beg for attention? They're not going to do that, because secure people don't have time for that. That's what insecure people do. Insecure people create problems out of thin air. Insecure people make people run around in circles for them, because again, they don't get attention at home, so they have to find any attention any way they can. And unfortunately, some people get sucked into their little emotional vampire trap. We have to do an episode on emotional vampires soon come. It's like, who's gonna go through all that trouble? Somebody that allegedly likes you is not gonna do that. Why would they do that? They're gonna say that directly. They're going to compliment you directly, because what's the point of making it a game and running around in circles if you like somebody? Like, why would you want to make somebody you like feel bad about themselves? Does that make sense? It does not make sense to me. This is why I always say, and I will stand 10 toes down on it, you need to have some pride, and you need to be too good for certain shit. I don't care. Yes, I'm too good for certain things. I'm too good to be roasted at 24/7. Because if we're trying to be in a relationship and all we're doing is just roasting each other, like, what, are we in middle school? I don't think so. We're grown. We pay taxes. So act correctly, or I will go somewhere else. Now, I'm a Leo, so like the pride is just naturally flowing through my veins. And I thank God every day to have some pride, because like, you really do need to be above certain shit. And I don't care if people act, oh, you're too good. Yes, I am too good. Now what? You could be too if you tried. It's effortless for me. Again, I'm a Leo. I don't have to try hard to be prideful, but it's like, you have to really be too good for certain things, for certain people, certain spaces. Because once you figure out what your standards are and what your boundaries are and what works for you and what doesn't, it's going to be so easy to walk away from things. Because the second something is not fulfilling you and makes you feel bad, you know that you can walk away, because you are stable and secure enough to be on your own. The problem is when people feel like they can't get anything better than the person they're currently with, or they think that they're not good enough to be single on their own, that's when you stick around for bullshit. That's the problem. That's why it's so important to get your self-concept together and get your confidence together before doing all this, because it saves you from so much heartbreak. And again, this is not nobody can predict the future, okay? Things can happen, all right? But for the most part, you will know when it's time to cut and run when things don't work for you, just like the lady in the TikTok. She left in the middle of the day. That's how it should be. You need to be too good for certain things. You need to be too good for certain things. Get your pride up and get your ego up, ladies, especially the ladies. Okay, because we're taught to be, demure and just be quiet and sit there and take it. And you can't take a joke. Like, learn how to. No, again, jokes should be funny. I'm not laughing. I'm not gagging. So try harder. I don't know. Something about sitting on this couch makes me feel so free. I don't know. I feel like I really like this setup. I'm starting to really like it, and the microphone just makes you feel like you got real shit to say. Be above backhanded compliments and be above toxic behavior. It's not cute. It's not cute to have to guess and wonder where you stand with somebody. It's not cute to go like this, up and down every other 2 days in a relationship. It's not cute to have somebody forcing you to audition for them and prove your worth to them. That should be unattractive to you. That should give you the majorest of all icks. It should gross you out. If you think you're smart, that's all that matters. If you think you're pretty, that's all that matters. All that extra mushmouth shit does not matter, especially from a stranger you don't know. A man telling you you're beautiful, it should be okay, I know that. And it's not even on no cocky shit. It's okay, I know that. What else now? Are you going to prove any action? Are you going to do any actions that align with how you feel about me? Or are you just going to talk my ear off to death? I can't with the... I don't know, y'all. The older I get, the more I'm just, not easily impressed with certain behaviors. Because it's okay, I'm pretty, now what? What are you going to do to make sure my life stays pretty and that I stay pretty? Hello? The fresh manicure. So the next time you're at a bar and a guy's, wow, I can't believe you wore that out. You really think you look good in that? All of that and all the other adjacent comments and behaviors should gross you out. And it should make you belly laugh. Chortle. Okay? It should make you chortle out loud. We're going to remove the rose-colored glasses. Okay? And we're going to replace them with the insecure fuckboy man X-ray goggles 3000. New prototype, okay? And these glasses are going to allow you to see men for the insecure losers they really are. Not all of them, but enough for us to be having this conversation, right? So you're gonna put those X-ray glasses on, and anytime you see any of this type of tomfoolery take place, get your chortles out. He's insecure and he needs me to give him attention. Aww. Thank goodness, though, y'all are secure around these parts, so you will never have to entertain this type of behavior, because they should know better not to come up to you with that nonsense. And if they do try it, because they're running rampant in these streets, if they do try it, at least you know that they're just an insecure child looking for attention. I really need you to actually look at them as toddlers who are please, anybody give me attentions. I need a little bit of attentions. That's what they are. That's what they're doing. And they're looking for you to give them that attention. But you're not going to do that, right? Because you already know negging is for losers. So just remember, ladies, gays, and thems, this summer, when that man is trying to come at you in the bar with his little jokes and his little backhanded compliments, you already know what type of time it is, okay? But yeah, just remember, I want to just drive this point home. You should not have to audition and beg somebody to care about you and to treat you well. They're the ones with the problem, not you. They're the ones that are insecure, and they need to make others feel bad about themselves to rise themselves up. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and let me know if you have ever experienced negging before, and what are other little sneaky emotional manipulation tactics that these men are doing out here. Like, I would love to talk about it because we need to just keep this conversation going and get the girlies hip and aware of what's happening in these streets and to take off those rose-colored glasses, okay? Don't forget to download today's episode if you're listening to me on Spotify and Apple or any other listening streaming services you use. And of course, if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you like today's video, subscribe to the channel, and join the other boudoir babes and beaux in our little boudoir fam. All right, I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.